This is bold. All right, this is bold. I have seen desserty hot sauces in many different contexts. A hot chocolate hot sauce, you're going where no hot sauce company has gone before, in my opinion, here. And I was supposed to actually record this review last Monday, but the weather's just been so hot because I wanted to have the correct presentation, right? I wanted to wear a nice Christmassy sweater, which is what I'm doing right now. It's actually cold out right now. So it's almost like the climate, readjusted itself for totally inappropriate for June weather just so that I could have the right conditions under which to record a review for this. We've got hot chocolate hot sauce by TNT Spices. Now, one of the reasons that I didn't start with this one and reviewed this one is because this sauce, the red, white, and blue, with the triple berries and the cinnamon and clove, is actually one of the ingredients in this particular hot sauce. Hang on. Sorry about that. So, I have never been particularly a big fan of hot chocolate or cocoa. I will have a cup of cocoa every once in a while, especially if if it's a family gathering and everybody's drinking cocoa, and it's nice and steaming, and that there's like a spicy, good quality cocoa that's being served up. Sure, I'll have a cup of cocoa, but it's not something that I do routinely. I just don't particularly enjoy it that much, when I eat a hot beverage, I'm always thinking either coffee or tea. I don't know about cocoa, hot chocolate, just not my thing. It's never been, not even when I was a kid. But I got to thinking, when I saw that TNT Spices had created a hot chocolate hot sauce, I got to thinking maybe the only reason that I've never particularly enjoyed cocoa is because I wasn't drinking it in the right context. There was always something missing. All right? And maybe what I need was an infusion of spice. All right? And I'm not just talking about cloves, cinnamon, and other fragrant spices. I mean heat. All right, so a couple things that I'm going to do here. I have a nice cup of hot cocoa. I have been stirring it with a cinnamon stick. The cocoa in question is this mint flavored one. Of all the cocoa flavors, I love mint flavored the most. I like mint tea too. I like mint tea stuff. And I think if this is as good as I think it's going to be, and if it has the flavors in it that I believe are going to be in it, I think it's going to be a wonderful complement to a mint flavored cocoa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this on its own first. I've already done some preparation because this is an extremely thick sauce. I mean, it's thick on a level that thick sauces will be put to shame by because it's really more like melted chocolate. That's what this is like. You ever go to one of those like touristy Bavarian towns like Frankenmuth, Michigan or something like that? You go into the chocolatier and you see them like making the chocolate with the thick melted chocolate, and they're like making the chocolate bars right in front of you and it smells amazing. That's the texture of this sauce. All right, it's beyond syrup. It's beyond thick hot sauce. It's melted chocolate consistency. So I've already got it onto my spoon because I didn't want you to have to sit there and watch me struggle with the bottle. Let's have it go. Really rich chocolate flavor. Intense spice from cinnamon, clove, maybe allspice. I don't know what else is in there. I'm going to read through the ingredients in a second there. That little hint of rich fruitiness from the tri-berry red, white, and blue hot sauce. What a great addition to that. Let's see what else is in this. So it's got balsamic vinegar. I thought I could taste some kind of sweet tang in there. Interesting. White vinegar. De Kuyper butter shots butterscotch schnapps. Okay. I have some fond memories and some not so fond memories of my butterscotch schnapps experiences in college. I won't relay those right now, but suffice it to say, everybody's got to try butterscotch schnapps at least once in their lives. And what an interesting addition to a hot sauce. Filtered water, dark chocolate. I knew it was that dark chocolate. When I said rich chocolate flavor, I meant not like, milky chocolate. There is a rich, deep 72% cacao type dark chocolatey flavor in there. Red, white, and blue hot sauce, obviously. Scallions, black garlic. star anise, cinnamon, salt, sugar, espresso. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of a coffee flavor in there. Cocoa powder, salt, ghost pepper. The perfect pepper to put into a sauce like this. If you're going to make a hot chocolate hot sauce, you got to put ghost peppers in this. I kind of figured they would. Great choice. Chipotle pepper. Another brilliant choice. Got that smokiness, and then there's cayenne pepper, bringing that aged flavor. Carolina Reaper, and cinnamon. Well, I don't really taste the Reaper. In fact, I was going to say, based on that first bite, a dessert hot sauce is probably a great way to introduce kids to hot sauce. However, I wouldn't start with this one. I would make it, one of the early sauces that they try as they're leading up to trying very, very, very spicy sauces. But this would be a great place for kids to start. I mean, kids love dessert, kids love chocolate, kids love hot chocolate. And then, this is a way to slip a little bit of heat into a nice dessert sauce. Great way to break kids into hot sauces. And this is a very gourmet hot sauce. I mean, this is beautifully put together. It's very, very refined and nice. I think it's going to go so good in this cocoa. I cannot wait. But yeah, so I do taste the sort of sustained burn of the ghost pepper. I've talked a lot about that before. That's in there. I taste a little bit of that smokiness in retrospect from the cayenne or from the chipotle pepper. I don't know about the aged cayenne flavor. If I taste that yet, I'm going to taste it again and look for it in the cocoa. Carolina Reaper, not really tasting it, but there is probably a trace amount in there. And then those nice, the cinnamon is prominent in that. Great, rich, deep, dark chocolate flavor. This is a really, really nicely put together sauce. And coming from somebody who doesn't like hot chocolate, doesn't like cocoa, doesn't like chocolate, doesn't like dark chocolate. I prefer milk chocolate to dark chocolate. It's still, for me, minimum 7 out of 10. And probably going to be better than cocoa. So here we go. Let's shake it vigorously. I'm going to put a lot in here. All right. That's 3 really, really good drops in there. Stir it vigorously. That's good. And then we got to have our whipped cream. All right. I present to you a cup of mint-flavored cocoa with a cinnamon stick used as a stir stick, a bunch of whipped cream sprayed over top, and 3 very generous dollops of TNT Spices hot chocolate hot sauce. Let's see how it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. It tastes like something. It tastes like something your Scandinavian grandmother would concoct to you over a fire in a, kettle in like the late 19th century. It's taken me back. It's taken me back to an era in history when I wasn't even alive. The fact that this comes out of a jar, and this comes out of a packet, and this comes out of a, what do you call this, a canister? None of that matters. It's got this authentic, old-fashioned, vintage, just warm, like you're just transported to a turn of the century. Did I say 19th century? You could say turn of the century into the 20th century. Just a long time ago. You're at a log cabin. The log cabin is lit by a nice warm fire. And your Scandinavian grandmother, even if you're not Scandinavian, she's somehow Scandinavian. She's there making you this wonderful, bubbly, steaming pot of spicy cocoa. That's what I'm getting from this. Yeah, but why not, in addition to the temperature of your drink being hot, why not just add some pepper heat in there as well? The little bit of berry in there is a wonderful complement to the spicy, fragrant spices. I don't know. There must be some desserts out there that have, cinnamon, clove, and then a bunch of fruit and berries in them. I don't know what they are. I'm not a dessert expert. I don't eat desserts. But I'm picturing it like reminding people of that. Maybe there's some kind of like a blueberry cobbler out there that has a bunch of cinnamon in it. Cinnamon and clove and what are the other ones? Nutmeg. Yeah, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. Surely there are some berry cobbler recipes that have cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg in them. So you get that. You get I probably could have heated this up a little bit more. I kind of wanted it to be steaming, but I never know how to shut up, so I was rambling on and on before I actually tried the cocoa. It would have been nice to have steam rising from that. What I should really do is heat it up so it's really, really nice and hot. Add a little bit more of this to give it even more pepper heat. Keep stirring it with the cinnamon stick to infuse it with more of that fragrant spice. And just enjoy the hell out of it, despite the fact that it's June. It's cold enough that I've been able to talk for 14 minutes with this Christmas sweater on. And yeah. Final thoughts on this sauce. Highly recommended for anybody who loves desserts. Great, great way to introduce children to hot sauce. All right? Especially those who are really into the Christmas tradition of having a nice hot cup of spicy cocoa. This is changing my mind about cocoa and hot chocolate. I find myself now wanting to have more cups of cocoa because I know that I can put this into it and I can liven up the flavor. So, by my personal standards, this is a 7 out of 10. It is very good for what it is. People who are into desserts and hot chocolate and cocoa, and I was also thinking, anybody who's into like beignets, all right? That was the thing I was thinking of. I was like, what could you do with this other than put it into hot chocolate and cocoa? Those French donuts, those little French donuts, the beignets with the cinnamon, the sugar on them, dip them in this. That's just the beginning of ideas that you can come up with of how to use this sauce. Like I said, it's like spicy melted dark chocolate. Very rich, wonderfully complex flavor, very warming. Highly recommended. Anybody who loves desserts, especially chocolatey ones, is probably going to give this a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Nicely done, TNT Spices. Thank you.